Cass here with Nature Gym YouTube channel, and today we're heading deep into Zion National Park. We're going to soak in the Virgin River, hike some dangerous cliffs, sleep in the camper, make coffee in the van, and most of all, take in some of the most incredible views you've ever seen.
Welcome back, Nature Gym family. It's been way too long since I've made a video. I've been working really hard. I've been stressed out about life. I've been focused on all the wrong things. So this weekend I'm getting back to what I love, which is hiking out in nature. I'm going to Zion National Park. It's about a 2-hour drive from here. Right now I'm at the world famous Las Vegas Strip. It's supposed to get up to 114 degrees down here today, which is unbelievably too hot. So I'm out of here. I'm going to where it's cool and where hopefully I can go for a swim maybe too. I'm gonna hopefully do that. So tune in, watch the rest of the video if you wanna see that stuff.
So I drove about 30 minutes from Virgin, Utah, out towards Smithsonian Butte, and just found a nice spot out in the desert to camp in my van. Good morning. So I just woke up and made myself a cup of coffee here in the camper van, and I'm headed down to a gas station to get some ice for the cooler, which is completely melted. And then I've got to get over to the Zion National Park's parking lot, and I hope you come along and make it to the top of Angel's Landing with me. All right, so I've wanted to do Angel's Landing ever since I moved to Las Vegas back in 2017. I've always kind of wanted to do Angel's Landing, never gotten around to doing it. I have done the Narrows a couple years ago for my wife's birthday. We went with my wife and my daughter. That was a lot of fun. One of the great, all-time great photos and memories and stuff. But anyway, Angel's Landing, it's been on the bucket list for a long time, and today, hopefully, it's getting checked off the list. Just getting into Springdale, which is the town where you park to then take the trolley. Situated here in the van, and something just dawned on me as I saw the other group that showed up just head out walking, is that I don't need to wait to 7 a.m. until the shuttle starts. It's 4.5 miles up the road to Angel's Landing. And from there, you know, I can do the Angel's Landing hike. Funny, my hiking shoes are this old pair of Tiger Woods Nike golf shoes that I have, which are really good for hiking. The moon is still out, and I am really excited about being here today. Glad you guys were able to come check it out with me. Came up on this guy. Caught me off guard. Walking up on that buck kind of caught me off guard, startled me a little bit. All right, folks, so I made it to the Angel's Landing trailhead, and I found out how long of a hike it is when I got here this morning, which is unusual for me, and I'm sure many of you would scold me for being unprepared. And I'm getting looks because I'm not dressed in typical hiker affair. I have golf shoes on, I've got a Raiders football shirt on, and I've got a duffel bag instead of my backpack. Everyone's wearing sporty camo packs and stuff. So anyway, I'm sticking out like a sore thumb. I've got my office headphones on because it makes it so I can do audio here on this video. And I just found out how long the hike is, which is 2.5 miles out, 2.5 miles back.
So 5.4 actually, so maybe a little bit more than 2.5 each way. But it's not too bad. And super excited as I've been wanting to do this hike for so long. Pretty cool that they have this, this concrete walkway. All right, it's not great, guys. I'm about halfway up to Angel's Landing. It's the toughest 2.5 mile hike I've ever done, and my legs are starting to show signs of cramping up, which is not good. So wish me luck. I'm trying to fight through and make it to the top. I do not want to turn around, but cramps are a pain. And so we'll see how I hold up. Anyway, see you at the top. Going up some gnarly switchbacks here. This is not an easy hike. They were not kidding about strenuous. There it is, guys. I finished the switchbacks. Those switchbacks were killer. I mean, I'm in not great shape right now either, but that was tough. I'm carrying a heavy sack with a lot of liquids. Anyway, we're almost there. Hi. All right, so they were checking permits right here at the start of the chain section. Luckily, I had mine all dialed and my ID. So bring your ID and your permit if you're coming to Angel's Landing. Here we go up to the top. Dudes, this is sketchy up here. All right, guys, I'm one stop away from the top of Angel's Landing, and this trail is no joke. It is scary, sketchy, 1,000-foot cliffs on either side, no margin for error. One slip and fall, and you could be dead. This place is really wild. I don't think that I'll ever come back, but I'm glad I'm checking it off the bucket list for the one time. And for the adventurous and the thrill seekers and the hikers, go for it. Everyone else, do the narrows. Anyway, I'll check in at the very, very top. If it wasn't for these crowds of people, I might have turned back out of fear or just sheer exhaustion. So, almost to the very, very end. All right, so we're up on the top of Angel's Landing, and I can see all the way back down through the entire valley, which I walked up the entire thing. I did not take the shuttle bus. So it was 4.5 miles to the trailhead, 2.5 miles up here to the top. And those 2.5 miles were a lot harder than those first 4.5 miles. Now I'm gonna head back down and I'm going to take a dip in the Virgin River, rinse off all the sweat before I get back to the van and head back to Las Vegas. Thank you so much for joining me on this hike up to the top of Angel's Landing. I don't think I'll do it again. Like I said, it's really beautiful, it's really cool, but it's really nerve-wracking and kind of scary. And when I was in my 20s, I probably would have loved this hike. I'm in my 40s now, and you know, it's not really, I don't really need the thrills anymore. In fact, I got startled by a deer and I got startled by a squirrel, every little noise. I'm getting old, guys. It's not the best, but I made it to the top. A lot of other people did too. I mean, this is a popular hike, and that's with the permit system where you have to check in and you can't just come up. Anyway, now to make our way back down and go take a nice dip in the Virgin River. Guys, this probably doesn't do it justice, but it is straight down 1,000 or more feet off this cliff. Thanks for tuning into this video. This has been the most epic video I've filmed yet. And this is a really cool hike. Really felt dangerous and risky up there at the top. And everybody was talking about how sketchy it was up there. So if you're really, really adventurous and into dangerous hikes, check it out. Otherwise, there's a bunch of other hikes inside of Zion. I've done the Narrows. That one's cool. I've never filmed a video on it, but I did the hike. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a fun journey, and I'm glad that you came along and did it with me. I'll see you on the next one. Oh, shit.